We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live!
Welcome to the Mouthpiece, episode 43, year 2. Today we're going to talk about my beautiful online poker rush I have had. We're going to talk about coronavirus. We're going to talk about the cancellation of the World Series of Poker till about October. We're going to also talk about the new cheating scandal in poker. I want to apologize to everybody for that. I've been going through a lot. I think last time I was on, I was telling you my dad had just passed away a week before. Then my cat got really sick, and they told me he had a 0.1% chance of living, and somehow, some way, he got an MRI of his brain. He was having really bad seizures, and the lady said that he doesn't have a tumor in his brain, and she said that it's only the first time in 10 years she's seen a 10-year-old cat that got seizures that didn't have a brain tumor. So they gave him a spinal tap, blood work, MRI of the brain, and they once they eliminate that, they come to a conclusion he has epilepsy. For a cat to get epilepsy at 10 years old is beyond rare. So I have to give this stupid cat fucking pills every day, 4 times a day. You don't know what stress is unless you try and give a cat a pill 4 times a day by yourself. Girlfriend's coming back tomorrow. She's been in LA for like 5 weeks. But I'll just have to say, oh God, it's I have to wrap him in a blanket so he doesn't scratch the fuck out of me. Then I have to somehow hold him with like one arm and put my weight on it. Then I have to tilt his head back to where the bottom of his jaw opens, and then I have to quickly drop the fucking pill down his fucking throat. Then he tries to spit it up because cats don't like pills. So I have to make sure it's not in between his cheeks, and he actually swallows it. For like the first 3 days, I was finding pills all over the floor. The little fucker would like it wouldn't be in his cheeks, and it looked like he'd swallow it, but he put it behind his tongue or something, and the second he got off the bed, he would spit it out of his mouth. So, yeah, that's been kind of a nightmare. So, but I'm really happy he's going to live, and, anybody that follows me knows how much I love my animals. So, that was the first good news to have happened in a long time for me. And ever since then, ever since I realized that the cat's going to live, I went on this, I call it 38-day winning streak in poker in a private, no-limit game. Small game, 5, 10, 20. You could say I lost one day, which I did. I lost $2 one day, and then I won the other 37. So I'm back on my feet, and basically just paying debts and staying alive. And you don't need to call me if I owe you.
Yay, Mikey.
You don't need to call me if I owe you, because you'll be getting a call from me as long as I keep winning. I told myself that I was going to build my bankroll to a certain amount before I started paying people. I've reached that goal. So now everything I win, hopefully from here on out, I'll just be calling people that I owe. I don't owe that much money. Everybody thinks I owe a lot, but I don't. I'm pretty sure I'll be out of debt here probably within a month, maybe 2. I don't expect to run like as good as I've done. So that's what's been going on in my life. So not everybody not all online poker, I guess, is rigged if I could finally win an online poker, because I never win an online poker. But I really used to win all the time playing No Limit Hold'em. I just never played No Limit Hold'em much. Even back in the online days, I was always playing mixed games on Full Tilt or PLO, quarter 50 PLO, because the No Limit games were were tough. So, but the thing I learned the most, I think, over the last 8 weeks is when you put in the reps. Like I found myself playing 6 hours a day every day. Everything kind of comes back to me, and putting in the reps has really brought my no limit game to a very, very high level. Now, am I playing against all the greatest players in the world? No. But there's plenty of good players in our game. But I'm playing probably the best poker maybe of my life, and you combine that with, I'm proud of myself. I mean, I didn't really ever believe I could play at that really high no limit hold'em level. I know I went deep in the main event last year. I also finished 15th in the Bay 101 this year in March, and 27th in the LAPC. But that was more playing a lot of pot control, playing somewhat tight, and picking my spots. What I've done now is, with my confidence growing and my ability to get my confidence to where I'm able to pull triggers and I see weakness, and I've really been able to open the game back up to where I used to be. Now, I don't want to overstate it and get too excited, but between 2000 and 2005, I was 100% top 3 no limit players in the world. Maybe even the best, but probably top 3. I believe that if I keep putting in the reps and keep playing the way I'm playing, that I could be definitely a force to be reckoned with here in the future, as long as I stay out of pain. Again, being home, relaxing, playing where I'm not walking. My pain level's been way down, which has allowed me to play at a really high level too. I've learned how to read online. It's always been a struggle for me. I've always been able to be a great reader live, but being able to focus on certain players, the way they bet, it's really been able to pick up a lot of tells there. So, overall, I'm really happy. I don't want to go out and say I'm like top 50 no limit players in the world. I think I am. I think I might even be higher. My ability to see things are my God-given talent, and you put the God-given talent with putting in reps, it's really made me really be good. So, even one of the players, one of the pro players in the game was like, not only is Mike playing the best I've ever seen and running the best I ever seen, he said he might be playing the best I've ever seen anybody in a private game ever even play. So because of that, I've had days where I've been kicked out of the game because I win too much, or suspended for winning too much, or whatever. You know how it works in poker. Jealousy in poker is not a good thing, even though everybody seems to always be jealous of somebody. So, with 7 years of misery I had, the thought that I'm able to go on a little bit of a rush, and the whole world's like the world's coming to an end because, God forbid, Mike makes a few dollars and pays off some debts and doesn't have to struggle in his life. It's like, oh my God, Mike's winning so much. Oh my God, we can't let Mike have any money. God forbid. So it's really frustrating with the way people act a lot of times. But, listen, I've been down. I've been through hell and back the last 6 years, and there's nobody in the world, in the poker world, that has even remotely come close to being through what I've been through in the last 20 years. And I don't play the victim. I now play the victor. I don't feel sorry for myself anymore. I try and make the best of things, and that's what I do. It's the best you can do in life, but the fact that I'm doing well now, it's like, people don't want to see me do well. It's like I used to tell, I even told, when I first met Michael Phelps, I told him, you're a big star now. I'm like, people are going to want to take you down. I go, people get off on watching you burn. They don't want to see you be successful. So that's just the way it is in life, and again, that goes back towards following the Ten Commandments. Thou shalt not covet. That's one of the biggest problems with people in the world. They're all jealous of everything and what everybody does, and that stems a lot from social media. And it stems just from just the way people are. I try and treat people the way I can, and don't be jealous of anybody, and try and make the best you can. So hopefully I will keep this run rolling. I grind, but I don't, it's fun to me now. It's like, I never, like grinding No Limit. You're always sitting there looking for the one big hand, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden you're making lots of big hands, and then lots of, just, I don't know how to explain it, but I've been in the zone and running great. And it's definitely the best I've played No Limit Hold'em since 2005, when I was probably the best in the world. So does that mean I'm the best in the world now? No. I got a long ways to go, but I'm working hard on my game to get there. In other words, I never had the drive to want to be one of the best No Limit Hold'em players in the world again. I was happy being one of the best mixed game players in the world, crushing during the World Series, making my money when I play, and I was happy with that. But now that I started playing No Limit Hold'em again, and I basically played No Limit Hold'em for the last year, and only No Limit Hold'em. I played like mixed games once in the last year. So even after the World Series last year, where I felt my No Limit Hold'em game was really getting good, because I was coming off the deep run in the LAPC, and then I had the deep run in the main event, and then the deep run in the turbo, and then getting head up against all the top Germans in the one table. I felt I was getting really good, and my confidence was growing. And then I played live at the bike like 3-4 times. I won pretty big. I just felt like my game was getting better and better. And then unfortunately, then I decided when I came back from Washington, D.C. on February 25th, I was supposed to go straight to LAPC, but the coronavirus was getting, I didn't know it was going to be this bad, but it was getting to become pretty bad. So because of my pain pills and stuff, I'm on my immune system somewhat suppressed. So I skipped the LAPC, and then I went straight to Bay 101, in which I got 15th out of like 300 people there, and I gave it away, by the way. Literally gave it away. So again, my confidence was high, and then the pandemic hit, and I got invited to some private games, and just putting in the reps. And the first probably 4 weeks, I was winning decent, but not big. But then all of a sudden, the cards started hitting me, the confidence started flying, I started opening my game up, and then I kind of just really did well. So I'm pretty happy with that. So with that in mind, that's pretty much what's going on there. So anyways, let's switch some subjects over, if you guys want to talk about, and I'll be taking your phone calls at 702-329-0480. Anybody wants to call in and talk to me, ask me any questions they want, I'm more than happy to be taking them. We could talk about the coronavirus. Have you noticed I've not been active on Twitter? It's because Twitter is a place for evil people that hate themselves, hate everybody, and it's a negative place, so I try not to be on there. But when I do tweet on Twitter, I just tweet from the heart and tell you how I feel. People want to disagree with me, that's fine. But and I have no problem saying it. Like when I say coronavirus is a hoax, no, coronavirus is real, but it is media-driven hoax. In other words, it is not any more dangerous than a common flu. I mean, is it more contagious? Yes, but more dangerous? No. I mean, and when people want to argue with me this, I just say, do the math. Because you know how they always say, the science, the math, do the science. Okay, well, here's the math, everybody. There's 5.4 million people infected in the world. Let's just say that number is low and it's like 8 million. And there's a total of 546 people. Restarting.
I'll tell you when you're up. Okay, you're back.
I'm back. Sorry, we had technical difficulties. We got knocked offline. I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, I was talking about coronavirus. So I tell everyone, let's do the math, okay? So, everybody, let's do it all together. 360 million people in the United States. Everybody got that? 1.6 million people infected. Okay? Let's add that together. That's 0.05% of the United States population. Now, out of the 1.6 million, 100,000 have died. Now we cut 0.05 divided by 16 equals the odds of dying from coronavirus at 0.0003%. Yet, the millions that are put in poverty and the millions who are going to die from suicide are going to be way more than 100,000. Let's just put it that way. I said millions because it will be millions. Okay. And all the models have been wrong. Every model that Fauci fucking said to Trump were wrong. 2.5 million people were going to die. Wrong. Okay. My brother said 5 million. Wrong. Okay. I'm not saying don't think I don't have compassion. One person is way too many. Okay. But you just need to understand what's going on here. I was doing some research yesterday. Do you know the odds of dying in a car crash in your life is 1 in 111? 1 in 111. The odds of you dying from coronavirus are like 1 in a billion, okay? But are you afraid to drive every day? No. Are you? But everybody's afraid to leave their house without a mask or without social distancing or whatever. So this is all I'm trying to say. Do the fucking math. Don't sit there and say, oh, Mike's a Trump supporter. Oh. No, I don't want it to be political, but they've made it political. When Trump said on February 28th that it was a Democrat-driven hoax, okay, he was talking about the media. Okay, and it's exactly what it is. It is a media-driven hoax. Okay, the virus is very real. If you get it, you have a 1 out of, let's see, they say the people who get it, only 10% are hospitalized, and then 1 out of 10 of that. So you have if you get it, you're 1 out of 100 to die from it, but you're only 0.5% to get it. So the virus is real, but the if you watch the media, these states are opening too fast. The infections are going to go way up. Okay, there was never everybody stay at home till there was a cure. It was flatten the curve so the hospitals wouldn't get overrun. I bought in. You heard me on my podcast. I thought the thing was all bullshit. And then I said, you know what? It's a lot worse than I thought. But when it ended up being, it wasn't worse than I thought. Okay. But All the American people, God bless them, they all bought in. They stayed home for 5 weeks. Okay, they closed their businesses for 5 weeks. They flattened the curves even in New York almost a month ago. Okay, but why aren't they open? People are going to die. Okay, like as one guy was saying, I'd rather die than lose my entire business that I've spent my whole life building. Remember, as poker players, none of us live in the real world. Even if we're playing $1, $2 no limit, we're winning or losing $400 or $500 a day. The real world, people have a family of 4 with 2 kids, and they're both mother and father are working to make $1,000 or $1,200 a week to put food on the table for their kids. That's the real world, everybody. Think about the real world before you're selfish and tell yourself, oh, we have to stay at home. Oh, it's crazy to reopen. Put yourself in the working people's fucking shoes, okay? I'm never going to be in that. But you know what I've done? And that's what my book's all about, my new book coming out called Poker, Pain, and Politics, How All Three Made Me a Better Person. It reaches in and I get to understand the real world of what people in middle America are fighting for, how they have had 70,000 people last year died from opioid overdoses. Oh, that's 30,000 less than died from corona. Does anybody care about those people? Are they on the front page of the New York Times? That's all I have to say. Since coronavirus has started in the last 2 months, over 120,000 people, it was 113,000 people have died from obesity. Are the fast food restaurants all been closed the last 2 months? No. Okay? That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to compare it.
Speaking of opening up, do you want to open up the phone lines, Mikey?
I do. Let's open up the phone lines. 702-329-0480.
The Mouthpiece.
If you'd like to take part in our phone call segment, you can give us a call at 702-329-0480. And if you're a snowflake or a pussy and you don't want to talk to me, you can email me at mouthpiecepodcast@gmail.com. Also, follow me at the Mouth Matiso on Twitter for times that our call-in segment will be live.
All right. Call me, 702-329-0480, and we'll do some talking about what's going on. So, my brother bought me this mask. All right, we got a call. Let's see what I have to say. What up, what up? Welcome to the Mouthpiece. This is Mike.
What's up, Mike? It's Rick Fuller.
Rick, buddy. What a be, brother.
How you doing?
I'm doing fucking great. I'm ready
Good.
for my man Rick to. Are you there, Rick?
I'm here. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right. I didn't hear what you were saying there, but I wanted to talk about a bunch of things with you. If you got
Okay,
some time.
let's do it.
I mean, first of all, I want to talk about. I really want to talk about all those ridiculous things that you just said on your show about the coronavirus statistics. But I'm not sure I really want to get into all those with you.
Yeah.
What I really wanted to talk.
I'm losing you, buddy. I'm losing you. Why am I struggling to?
About was the tweet that you sent out 8 days, 0 mask.
What's that?
Can you hear me?
Well, yeah, I can hear you.
You losing me?
Yeah.
All right. I wanted to talk about the tweet that you sent out. It said, I've eaten out at least 5 times now in the last 8 days with 0 mask.
Yeah.
Feel bad for anyone who lives in fear.
Yep.
Hashtag enjoy life.
Exactly.
Don't you think that's kind of a ridiculous take for you to make on the safety of others around you?
Well, there was not one. If I tell you what, I ate at my sushi restaurant, and it was supposed to be 50% capacity. It was 100% capacity, and not one person in there was wearing a mask or brought one in. So, no. I think that I just don't think it's. I just look at the numbers, Rick. The numbers. If there's 1.5 million infected out of 360 million people, what am I worried about? Why do I have to worry
Don't
about?
you think that 1.5 million is greatly influenced by the fact that we have been in lockdown?
Well, I would say that. But the death rate per million is, I think, 1 in 240 in the United States, and Sweden, that had 0 lockdown, is 1 in 280. Was that worth destroying the entire economy?
You can't compare.
No, you go by
demographics
millions.
to
You go
Sweden's
by
demographics.
millions. It's all based on numbers, by millions. Okay, so for
Okay, but if you're going to compare Sweden's demographics to the United States' demographics, that's a ridiculous comparison.
Okay.
You'd be better off comparing them to surrounding countries like Norway or Finland.
Okay.
If you compare those numbers, Sweden has had significantly worse statistics by not going into lockdown.
Well, they have had worse statistics, but worse statistics as far as destroying the entire economy to where so many people
Look,
are.
I'm not
that's all I'm
arguing
saying.
I'm not arguing the fact that the lockdown has been terrible for the economy. I'm not arguing the fact that the lockdown has not done more damage to the population than not locking down.
Correct. That's
those
my
numbers
point
yet.
I'm trying to make.
And
Right?
neither do you. Neither of us know those numbers yet.
Right.
Okay, there's been a significant impact to the United States population and to the economy by going into a lockdown. There's no question that that's true.
Yeah.
However, the fact that I'm talking about your tweet here, that you're not going to wear a mask out there.
But-
If you're not worried about yourself, aren't you worried about passing that virus on to others? Aren't you worried about
Well, how am I gonna
of
get
being
the
socially irresponsible in that way?
how am I gonna get the virus? I never leave the house.
You just said that you've been out to
I
eat
go
5
to
times in the
eat
last
dinner.
8 days.
I go to
And
eat
that
dinner.
You were at a fully packed sushi restaurant where no one was wearing a mask. What do you mean? How are you going to get the virus?
I'm just trying to say is I'm not worried about it. Okay, there's 5,600
You're not
people.
worried about it for yourself.
There's
Are you not worried about it for other people?
5,600 people in the entire state of Nevada that have the coronavirus and 362 deaths. Do you understand how many people die from
Hold on,
all
Mike.
kinds of other things that
Mike, there's a big difference between tested positive for the coronavirus and have the coronavirus.
and if they have it,
5,600 people have tested
well,
positive.
why aren't the
for
hospitals?
coronavirus.
Why aren't the hospitals? Why aren't they at the hospital if they all have it? You see what I'm trying to say? All I'm saying is there's proof
Lots
now.
of people get the virus and it has little to no effect on them. That's why they're not at the hospital.
There's
However, they pass it on to people who it has a major effect on.
listen.
So when you go out into public without wearing a mask, you are potentially putting people at risk.
Well,
It's not about you. It's about other people that you might be putting at risk.
I tell you right now, I don't believe that. Listen, I have my own beliefs of it. You know, we're very much aligned in almost everything, right? And and when we disagree on something, it's great. It's great that we're able to talk it out. You know what I'm saying? But it's like
Sure.
me and Matt Glantz, we were talking the other day, right? And Matt Glantz, I don't care what anyone says, he'll tell you straight out. He leans about a good 5-10 degrees left, okay? He's not a very big Trump supporter, and he says straight out, the entire virus, if you add the numbers out, is just way less than the common flu, and it's all politically driven by the media, the entire fear.
I strongly doubt that Matt Glantz said that.
You don't?
I
You
would
want me to
love
put him
to have
on?
Matt Glantz
Let's call
confirm
him.
that he said
Let's
that.
put him on. Let's call him right now.
I would
let's-
love to have Matt Glantz confirm that he said that.
Yeah, let me.
We're not hooked into Zoom right now.
Oh, we're not hooked into Zoom right now? Fuck, I could have just zoomed him on.
I could try. Just keep talking. I'll try.
Yeah. Call, text him. Ask him if he wants to zoom on in here. So, and we were just talking yesterday. He's like, he thinks he's been saying forever it's a complete hoax, and I'm like, he's like totally agrees with me. No, it's not. I'm not saying it's a hoax. The virus is real, but the media outrage is fucking driven to keep the economy closed. And you know why that is. Come on, Rick, man. You got to see that. I mean,
What's the incentive of the media to keep? What's the incentive of the media to keep?
because they're
the
going
economy
because
closed?
they
What's
went
their
from
incentive for that?
because now they're going to say Trump, look at the Trump economy, it's all in tatters, look what Trump did, you can't reelect this guy, look at the economy. They're like, oh, he was
But it's
running on the
not.
but that's what they're running
If they're
on now.
looking at the
Did you see Biden's tweet yesterday about look what Trump did to your economy? This is what they're going to run on now, Rick. Okay, the average person.
It's not just the liberal economy, though. I mean, the liberal media that's pushing the narrative. You're saying all the media, but the media are basically on the same page with regard to mask wearing and with regard to social distancing and things like that, regardless of which way the media leans. It's not, if this is a media conspiracy, you're talking about a vast conspiracy across the spectrum of the media.
Yeah.
Both political sides.
So, like, if you're watching
what's the incentive of the right-wing media for this?
My brother brought me this mask. He wants me to wear it out with a lot of people. It's like a $200 mask. I'm going to put it on for you. Now, if everybody in the world wore this mask, it's a 3M mask. Goes over your head. It comes down here, as you can see, and it straps around your back like this. Hold on. Just wanted to show you guys this. I was going to put it on last week. And it's got filters and a respirator in front of it. Now I look like a complete fucking idiot, but
I agree with that.
My brother wants me to wear it when I'm out and about, and I just when I walk into a Walgreens or a supermarket, I wear it. But when I walk in to go eat sushi, I go to the end of the sushi bar by myself, where there's nobody within like 4 or 5 feet of me, and I eat. You know what I mean? That's just it.
Okay, well, that mask is a little over the top, and
yeah,
I know that this is part of the rhetoric that you're trying to say. This is how
well. The thing is my brother.
Ridiculous you look.
If everybody masked, everybody could go out and we could have a normal life.
Mask is not in any way necessary for what we're trying to wear masks for.
Right.
The reason that we're trying to wear them.
But
that's a painter's mask or whatever. It's designed to filtrate out smaller particles than virus.
Yeah, of course. But my brother said a virus can't get in it. But anyways, I just think it's.
Well, I'm sure that's true. There's no doubt that's true.
I just think
that's a little ridiculous. That's a little over the top, intentionally, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, what did I just do? Did I break it? Of course I broke it. So, no. So, but there's no. You got to remember, the first month, it was masks are bad. Mask will cause you to have more virus. Now you're supposed to wear a mask, right? And
no, the narrative that masks were bad was undoubtedly to try to keep people from making a run on masks that were
that's what I thought too.
Emergency
I felt the same also.
There's no question on that.
I agree. I will agree with you.
Well, there's no doubt that masks are not bad. Masks are good.
Right.
So you can just forget about that. That was a ridiculous statement that was made in order.
Oh, I agree with you.
In order to try to keep people from making a run on them.
No, I'll agree with you on that. So let's just say 2 days ago they had a study, and it came out that you have 1/1000th of a chance, less chance of getting the coronavirus outside than you do inside. So that's a 1,000%, 1/1000th less chance. So 1,000 more likely to get it inside than you are outside. Okay, yet they keep everybody inside, and these governors won't open up the country and let people out on the beaches. Like in New York, what is this fucking de Blasio not allowing people to? You could go to the beaches, but you can't go in the ocean. Do you know how the ocean cleans the body? How good the ocean is for the body? I mean, there
have been some ridiculous takes by governors of the various states.
Right. That's the point I'm trying to say.
Not saying you can go on the beach and you cannot go in the ocean is a ridiculous take. It's absolutely absurd. Jay Inslee in Washington has destroyed that state.
Absolutely.
Where he sent millions of dollars to Nigeria in the unemployment scam, hundreds of millions of dollars
Absolutely.
sent to Nigeria in an unemployment scam.
Now,
governors have fucked up everything completely multiple times over. No question.
No question.
Right?
Okay.
What I want to discuss with you is your refusal to wear a mask out in public.
Well, I do wear it out, but I can't wear it in a restaurant when you go to eat. That's all I'm saying. I mean, how do you plan to eat?
Yes, you cannot wear a mask while you're eating, no question.
That was all
you
I'm
can
trying
wear a
to
mask
say.
When you walk in, you can wear a mask when you're interacting with the host, when you're paying at the cashier, when you're having a conversation where you're potentially spewing spittle out of your mouth towards somebody.
Well, that's one thing.
Not actually physically eating.
In the sushi restaurant I eat, they all have a plastic like welder's mask on their front, so they don't. None of them could put it out. It's really pretty good what they're doing. So it's like it looks like a welder's mask, but it's like it's a way thinner and a plastic mask, and all the sushi chefs are wearing it.
Yeah,
He just spews spittle, Rick.
A face shield.
Yeah, it's a face shield. So I honestly feel really comfortable when I go there. Now, like I said, it seems like everybody that's in the restaurant are families, so they're sitting in the booth, you know what I'm saying? And so it seems like everything's normal. You see what I mean? But when I go to I didn't go to and sit on the sushi bar and be right next to people. I went to the corner by myself, and the sushi bar only had about 8 people at it anyways. So, but I'm just trying to say.
Okay, so unlike the tone of your tweet, you're not opposed to wearing a mask.
No.
When you out in public.
No.
Both
not
for
at all.
your safety and health, and for the health and safety of people around you.
Oh no,
because
not
you
at
sent
all.
out this tweet to however many followers you have. What do you have, 100,000, 50,000?
Yeah, but you know how I.
That made it sound like you didn't care. That made it sound like you thought the whole mask thing was a joke, was a hoax.
No.
And that
I
were
care.
opposed to doing and taking any step, even the smallest, slightest step of wearing a mask for the health and safety of the people in our country.
Are you kidding me? I was the most safest person in the world till my dad passed away. I mean, like, I wasn't even allowed I couldn't even be anywhere near my dad unless I was like in my house for 2 weeks and had no symptoms. So, and then that's when my brother bought me this mask to wear or whatever to make sure my dad didn't get sick, but he ended up, passing away anyways. And, I don't think it was from COVID. I just think it was just his time, but, it was very frustrating. I went, like, even at the funeral, I had to wear one of those regular masks and then you're crying. I mean, it made things worse because then you're wiping your face. I'm like, man, I'm more likely to get COVID wiping my fucking face from the tears coming out of my eyes because the mask is covering my face and I can't breathe, The one thing about that mask that I was wearing, it is like a painter's mask with filter, but you can breathe out of it, you know what I mean? And it fits like really hard to your face. It really fits hard to your face. But, like I said, we have no proof that social distancing and that has made it better. There's no proof of that. There will be, maybe, but there is none right now.
There's probably no proof of that, but there's a lot of circumstantial evidence. Right. If this was a criminal trial, it would be guilty based on circumstantial evidence.
Yeah.
There's now the real question is, did the lockdown do more damage than leaving things open would have done?
Right.
And there's, the whole point of the whole goal of the lockdown was to flatten the curve,
right? Not
to cure the virus.
Well, this is my big
the curve
problem.
was flattened, and we should be reopened.
Right.
No question about it.
And people, listen, people are going to die
wearing a mask.
Right. People are going to die, and it's sad, and there's nothing we can do about it. Okay. But with that said, people die every day. Hundreds of thousands of people die every day. You can't tell people in the United States of America, the land of the free, that you have to close your business and we're going to put you in poverty in America. It's against the
goal is not to stop people from dying, Mike.
Yeah.
That's never been the
always,
goal. You're right. People are
now,
going to die.
But now they've made it that goal. Every single time on a CNN, if anybody in a red state that opened early dies, that's going to be on the front page because they're going to politicize it and say, see, I told you. When it was never about people dying, it was always about flattening the curve. You saw Dave Portnoy's rant. He was spot on. Everything he said was spot on, And listen.
I did not see it, but...
Oh, you didn't? Oh, my God. It was unbelievable. He said, when did flattening the curve become we can't open till we have a cure? you know, and you had Fauci like 3 weeks ago say, "Oh, we can't actually open until there's a vaccine, right? Fully." And even the governor or the mayor of LA County said, we don't plan on fully opening until there's a vaccine. Now, I've done a lot of research on these vaccines, okay? And you're going to fast track a vaccine. I mean, you don't know what it's going to do to you. You know what I'm trying to say? I mean, there's no chance they're making me take it. I mean, I'm not taking a vaccine, you know, unless they can. I mean, it's just too much. I have too much time on my hands, Rick. So I do a lot of reading. I'm going to send you a bunch of stuff that I've been reading about, and maybe you'll understand a little bit more of what's going on in my. Rick. Oh, we'll call him back. All right, but I want to talk to Rick some more. Rick, call me back. Do we have Rick's number? Call Rick back.
We do, actually. Just make sure that we're running again.
Is that Rick? Yep. Welcome to the Mouthpiece. Is Mike. Is it Rick?
Hey, it's Rick.
Yeah, okay. So, do you
keep getting censored over there?
I don't know. Probably. They're censoring everything. Anything that goes against the mainstream media narrative, they fucking censor. So, I don't, who the fuck knows? Do you know about, do you know about Event 201 on December 1st, 2019?
No.
Okay. Event 201 2009 was on December 1st, 2019, attended by 5,000 people in New York City. It was sponsored by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Okay, it was a mock global pandemic. Okay, basically they talked about what would happen if there was a major global pandemic in the next year. Okay, and they did all these mock things and all these mock drills, and lo and behold, there's a global pandemic a month later. Okay. Number one. Number two, when they came out, it was all wet. It was in the wet markets, blah, blah, blah. Right now, I'm not an idiot. There's like the second most secure viral lab, 2.9 miles away from the wet market, which now they say the intelligence shows there's very good support that it was leaked from that wet market or from that viral lab. Okay, now. You have to ask yourself, we know for sure that it was probably leaked from that lab. Was it done on purpose or an accident? Either way, let's just say it was an accident. It was probably an accident. Could have been purpose, but it was probably an accident. They covered it up. They consistently told Trump there was nothing to worry about. It was all contained. The World Health Organization on January 20th said there's no proof of contact with human to human when they already knew there was, okay? They called Trump a fucking racist for closing China on December 31st, the travel ban from China, okay? And then while they were busy trying to impeach him when they already knew the outcome, it's just so, it was all political. They already knew he was going to get convicted in the House and he was going to, in the Senate, he was going to get acquitted. So it was all a bunch of bullshit. So when they were doing that, the virus was spreading. And then afterwards, they had, let's go to our next story. Oh, now we'll cover the virus. When Tucker Carlson was covering the virus every day for 2 months before any part of the lamestream media started covering it. But then they decided they were going to say, oh, Trump doesn't care about you. He's not on top of the virus. Okay, he was obviously told by Xi Jinping that there was nothing to worry about. It was contained. Then once it hit Italy, that's when the shit hit the fan, and that's when Trump shut down travel to Italy, to Europe, to everywhere. And by that time it had already spread inside the country. The bottom line I'm trying to say is you've been around long enough to know that in a political year, everything's going to be politicized. And it's disgusting on both sides, by the way. I'm not taking one side or the other, on both sides, okay? And for people to be, the media convincing people that, 100,000 people died and it's Trump's fault. No, it's a world pandemic, okay? If you add up everybody who died in Europe, okay, and their population, they have 20 million less people than the United States, and they have over 40,000 more deaths if you combine everywhere between Germany, France, and everywhere in Europe. But the mainstream media won't tell you that. They just want to tell you what a global failure the United States are. We are the biggest country in the world beside India now and China. Now, we know China lied about their numbers. It's impossible for 3,000 people to have died. Okay, you'll agree there, right? It's just impossible. So
yes, I
right,
agree with that.
okay. So like even Deborah Brooks, and she's been in 5 administrations. She's very well, within the task force. She points it out and says this number here is just impossible. Okay, so we all know that number is impossible. Now we could say, now let's look to India. India was very lucky. They saw what happened in Italy. They saw it spreading in the United States, and they shut down India when there was only like 70 cases. They shut down 1.4 billion people before it was able to spread there, and that's why they were able to contain it. But for people to want to blame Trump, it's just like, they blame him for everything. Okay. Has he made mistakes? He's made a lot of mistakes, but so has everybody else. Fauci has flipped like 6 times. Fauci on February 31st, there is very likelihood we have nothing to worry about in the United States. There's nothing to worry about in the United States. And then he comes on and he says, then it was spreading on surfaces. Then 3 days ago, there's now no proof that it's spreading on surfaces. That they have no proof of that. Then today they came out and said, well, now it looks like it's spreading on surfaces. So there's so much disinformation coming from the high-end people. It's like Trump doesn't know about viral
disinformation,
yeah.
or is it uncertainty and speculation?
Both, I think. I think it's both. Absolutely.
Okay, well, disinformation means it's intentional.
That's a good question. So at first, I really trusted Fauci, and I thought he was a good guy, older guy, But then I started doing backgrounds on him, and he was involved with in the 80s with the AIDS epidemic. He did some shady stuff. You could go look it up, and it's really weird. Like in 2017, when he came, when there was right before Trump was inaugurated, right? He did an interview saying that there's going to be a global pandemic sometime during the uptime administration. Now, how the fuck's he know this? You know what I'm trying to say? And he invested I think 2.9 million into that virology lab in China. I'm just saying, I do my homework. I don't just spit fucking shit out.
Okay,
Sometimes
I have a lot of questions.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You started this with something about Bill and Melinda Gates doing some kind of scenario.
Correct.
Where a global pandemic hits the United States.
Right.
What was the point of that little story?
Well, I like to bring that out because you don't. Why are people running mock global pandemics a month before a global pandemic, unless they know something's coming?
That's like saying why was the United States doing a terrorist strike scenario on New York City right before the 9/11
and
terror attack.
And guess what? There's a lot of people believe that the U.S. knew about it and did nothing to stop it, so they could go to war in the Middle East, and it's very possible.
You said people, but you meant people, but you meant idiots, right?
Yeah. I'm just saying it's very possible. Now, I believe that. I don't believe that. Okay, I'm not a conspiracy theorist on 9/11, but there is a lot of evidence that points to that. If you want to believe it, you know what I'm saying. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I just go and look up things and I say to myself, why did this happen a month before the pandemic? Why? There's this other doctor, I forgot his name, but I on December 15th, God, I got to get his name to you, Rick. He was talking about that he was at Event 201 2 weeks ago, and he was talking about the likelihood of a global pandemic. And the reason why I looked this guy up, because he was on Fox News spreading like left-wing talking points about a month and a half ago. And I'm like, well, why is he? These are like left-wing talking points. Let me look this guy up, and I find this interview on him. I got to get you this name, and I'm going to send it to you. And I look it up, and it was and he was talking about the on December 16th, the interview about the Event 201 and how there's going to be a global pandemic. So it's like, it seems like they all knew, and it just feels that way to me. And then you go...
The fact that people knew that there was going to be a global pandemic, it does not make it a conspiracy that there was a global pandemic.
Right.
Right? People have been saying for forever that there will be global pandemics. So there's going to be another one after this.
Of course there will be.
Just because...
Let me ask something.
Well, just because someone
Wait a
says
minute.
there's going to be a global
Danny
pandemic.
wants to
just
ask you
because
something.
people
Danny wants to
plan
ask you
for it,
something.
and
Danny wants to ask you something.
what's that?
Danny wants to ask you something. What?
Does Rick by chance have
Good.
Zoom?
What's up, Danny?
Because there's a lot of people trying to call in, and if he can get on Zoom, we can get the callers in with both of you guys.
Yeah, that's a good question. Do you want to come on the show and get on Zoom with me, and then we'll take call-ins from people?
Because right now he's tying up the line.
Yeah, I'll have to download it. Why don't you take some calls, and I'll work on getting it called. I'll work on downloading it.
Yeah, and I'll send you out I'll text you the Zoom number, and then you can just join the meeting.
All right.
Okay?
Sounds good, Mike.
All right, buddy.
Sounds
Talk to you in a
good.
few. All right, bye.
Talk to you later.
All right. Let's
There's a lot of people are trying to call in, but they can't with him on the line. But
Gotcha.
If he gets on Zoom, then it's all good.
So I'm going to host a meeting.
No. I do it from my computer.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need to do it. I got it here.
Hello,
Welcome to the Mouthpiece. This is Mike. Who's this?
this is Matt from Pennsylvania.
Matt, what's up, buddy? How's it going?
Hey, I just caught the last about 10 minutes. I'm not sure who you were talking to on the phone.
It's Rick Fuller. He's a poker
But,
player. Yeah.
that guy, who is he?
His name's Rick Fuller. He's a really good friend. He's a poker player. And we've been good friends for
I thought
15 years.
Oh, okay. Well, you kind of sounded like a homo to me, to be honest.
Nah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's a good guy, and we agree on almost everything.
As far as this virus goes, I mean, obviously there's the virus. We all have to.
Of
You
course.
have to wear a mask everywhere. But
Hold on. I'm struggling. What the fuck is wrong with this connection today? It's really
they're
annoying.
trying the media narrative.
Right. Go ahead. I hear you.
You there?
Yep. The media.
The media narrative is to blame a virus on Donald Trump to get him out of office.
Absolutely. How does anybody see anything different than this? I mean, that's the point I'm
And you
trying
know
to
what?
make. That's the only point
And
I'm
how
trying to
could
make.
they actually want to put a guy in office, Joe Biden,
That can't
who
put two
doesn't
words
know
together.
what day of the week it is.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. It's sad. The guy, it's elder abuse. The guy has dementia. He can't put two sentences together. He can't, it's, I don't even know what they're doing, but I have my own thoughts on this. I do believe that they are going to run Michelle Obama as his VP, and then
Oh,
he's
my
gonna
God.
no, and he's gonna step down, and Obama's gonna run the country again, and that's when all hell breaks loose in this country. Okay.
I'll tell you. Did you see the other day on the news? He said something to the effect of, we've lost 85,000 jobs and millions of people
Yeah.
have died in the United States.
Yeah, he doesn't even know.
Where?
150.
His finger on the nuclear warhead button? Are you kidding me?
He said 150 million people died from gun violence last year. I mean, he doesn't know what he's saying. Okay. I mean, and listen, I don't know him, but with all respect, granted, he's opposite politically of me, but Tucker Carlson, who I think is the greatest person on TV, okay, because he's not a partisan. He fucking calls Trump out all the time. He calls the right out all the time. He just tells it like it is. And he said he's known Joe Biden for 20 years, and he's a good man, but he is absolutely lost it mentally, and what they are doing to him is a disgrace. So, you know, you have to look
he's not fit to run an ice cream shop.
He can't, right? So what you have to ask yourself, what is their only alternative to win? Okay? They had Obama Biden for 8 years. If they go with Biden Obama, okay, even though she said she's not interested, okay, Barack Obama, he might not talk like Trump. He's a great speaker, but he's a fucking narcissist just like anybody else who runs for president. And he will do whatever he can to save his name, okay, with this Obamagate shit and all the shit going on. And it's a woman of color. It's exactly what they could do to get out the vote. Now, I just see this is going. He's even said he wants her, but she turned it down. But I don't believe it. If you watch how quiet they've been on the left, there's a reason. They have a plan, and this, I believe, is the plan. Okay, and
you realize before this act of God pandemic happened,
mm-hmm.
Trump was going to win. They say even by more than he left. And
no, he was going to win in the biggest, in probably the second biggest landslide in the history of the United States. The only bigger landslide was Reagan's reelection. Okay, but he was going to probably get about 600 or 700 fucking electoral votes. Now with that,
I think Rick is on. Ask him if he can hear you.
Yeah, Rick, can you hear me? Hold on, we might have brought Rick on. We're trying to get him into a Zoom conversation here. We lost our caller.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. Oh, I don't have to open up Zoom. You're opening it up from there?
Yeah.
Okay. In front of me? No, I don't have to have it in front of me, do I? No. Because you have my thing over there. Okay.
Keeps telling me our internet connection is unstable.
Let's answer that. Well, welcome to the Mouthpiece, is Mike. Hello?
Mikey, what's going on, man?
What's that? Who's this?
This is Degenerate Dan. How's it going?
Good, man. How you doing? For some reason, I'm struggling with my call-ins today. People keep cutting out, so bear with me, man.
Here's Rick. Can you hear us?
Oh, no, it's all good. I can hear you.
Yeah.
Hey,
okay,
man,
good.
So we're on air right now, huh?
Yes, we're live. We're live, man. What you got any questions for me? What do you want to talk about? Let's talk.
Yeah, well, you're talking about how you don't believe in conspiracies, but, you know, it looks like the conspiracy theorists have been pretty correct on a lot of things here. What's going on?
Well, they are. I mean, it's like I'm just trying to prove a point to people. I'm not. People think like I don't care. Of course I care. Nobody cares more than me about people. Okay, but
right.
If you just put the numbers are telling you that it's just not. You have. I mean, like I just look up lots of numbers, okay? 47,000 people a month die from obesity. That means more people have died from obesity since the pandemic started than have died in the United States from the virus. Should we close every fast food restaurant? Okay, are all their names on the front page?
It makes no sense.
Right.
They shut down every mom. They shut down every mom and pop shop. Well,
right.
Walmart's wide open.
Now, why did they do that? They did it to put the country in poverty. Okay, what happens when people need money to survive or food to survive? They lean on the government.
It's going to be crazy.
Okay, I knew 2020
till
was going to be crazy, but I mean I knew they'd stop at nothing to take Trump out, and it might work. It really might work. I mean,
okay, but here's my next question, Mikey.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to piss you off here, but have you looked into who runs Trump?
Oh,
Trump's a puppet.
Dude, of course he's a puppet. I know that. Okay, but he's less of a puppet than the rest of them.
Why don't you ever talk about that? I mean, they're all puppets.
They're all puppets.
So
I've talked about it many times. Yes.
Well, you should say that because you praise Trump a lot, but
Trump's an but I don't. I think Trump is a moron. Okay? I think Trump is a moron. Okay? But with that said,
I agree with you. I think.
But that doesn't mean I don't like his policies either.
You got to say what they are. I mean, the guy's clearly a puppet.
You are fake news.
Yeah. No, he's clearly.
What's fake news about that?
No, we're joking. He's joking.
Have you looked into who runs them?
No, I mean
it's Mike. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, the same people that run the people on the left. You have the big donors run everything, man.
It's the people who run the whole world, bud.
Right, and that's the shadow government.
So talk about that. Don't stop praising Trump.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not. Listen,
He's
I'm
a
not.
freaking
Listen.
puppet.
Okay, I'll. You know what? I'm glad you called because I don't want to listen. I cannot stand 70% of the things Trump's done. Okay, but with that said, he is on his own done things outside of being the puppet, which is my brother.
Do you really believe that?
Well, my brother thinks like you. I say, well, he took on China, and my brother says, no, they put him in office to take on China because the world wants China out of the World Trade Organization. The world wants. That's what my brother says. Now he makes that. I started thinking about what he was saying, and it makes a lot of sense. You agree with what my brother says?
Well, Mike, I agree with a lot of things you're saying, but you know, you're saying how you don't believe conspiracy theories, but you're connecting dots here. I mean, have you? Do you know
I
who
believe
invented the word conspiracy theory?
Yeah. No, I believe conspiracy theories, but I don't believe a lot of them are
Do you know
conspiracies.
the word conspiracy theory? Have you looked into that?
No, what is it? What is exactly does it
I mean, it's just look into who invented the word conspiracy theory, and you'll understand it all. I mean, it's ridiculous. Anyone who tries to connect the dots, they'll call you a conspiracy theorist.
Right, exactly. If you don't believe the narrative they're pushing, it's a conspiracy theory, right? And that's
exactly. And I think it was the CIA the CIA invented the word conspiracy theory for people like you who connect dots. I'm not even kidding.
No, I believe it.
Look it up.
Like that's what I tell my listeners, right? And a lot of poker players. I say, don't be sheep. Go out and do your own research, okay? When somebody
if it's
tells
not
you
on TV, Mike, they're not going to listen to you. It's insane,
right?
You know?
But the thing is if the media is telling you it's a conspiracy theory, okay, go do your own research on it. That's all I tell people.
Exactly.
That's all I want.
People don't think for themselves anymore, Mike.
Right. Exactly. I don't care if you agree with me politically or not. I want you to think for yourself. That's all I want people to do. If they're telling you on CNN that mail-in ballots there's no such thing as fraud, that it's a conspiracy theory, they're fucking lying. All you have to do is do your homework and see how many elections, how much ballot harvesting there's been, and there's been like 15 elections.
I agree with you, Mike, but don't get caught up. Don't get caught up on the left and right bullshit. It's all the same. You know that? Man,
you sound just like my brother. And you know what? I think you might be right.
It's a big game, Mike. It's a huge game. It's a game that you and I aren't involved in.
Right.
Believe me, these people print the money, Mike.
I agree. How are they all?
Look it up for yourself. Look up just Google the World Bank. Just do yourself a favor and Google the World Bank. These people print the money for the world, Mike.
Right. No,
man. This is not a conspiracy theory.
You want to know what my brother?
You can look it up yourself.
You want to know what my brother's thought process is on this? Okay, and you might agree.
Just look who prints the money. I mean, it's not rocket science. If you print the money, you run the whole world.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's why I tell people.
People are like, that's how they control you, Mike.
Oh yeah, and when I say to my brother, I'll say, what do you think that they saw that they had a bunch of nobodies running against Trump, and he was a lock to win 2020.
Of course they do. Of course. Okay. Look at these people they put up there. It's a joke.
It was a joke. So what did they do? They were China was in an 18-month brutal trade war where it's going to cost them $5 trillion. And so they saw he had no chance of not winning re-election. And I think they went to plan D or E, which is unleash the virus on the world. Okay, you take out the head of the snake, which is the United States, and then you control then they're wide open and everybody's dependent on them. And then maybe they'll get Trump out of office. Now, my brother says opposite. My brother says that when China says the U.S. was the one that planted the virus, that they're telling the truth. Now, if you look, I do a lot of research. A lot of people on my podcast, they just don't do research. But if you look back to
but Mike, do you do research or do you watch Fox News?
No, I do research.
Fox News isn't doing research.
No. I do research. Like on October 31st, there was a It was called the Military Games in Wuhan, China. You heard about that? Okay. Now, they were saying that there was all the heads of militaries came to Wuhan for some kind of special military games. I don't know exactly what they are. And that the Chinese people are saying that the U.S. planted the virus there to blame them for it. And my brother says that they did it because not just that the world wanted China out of the World Trade, and that to blame it on them. And that's why when they say, and it's possible. I mean, it
is possible.
When I say,
look, Mike, anything's possible, Mike.
Right.
We're living in an insane world, Mike.
Insane, okay? And all I'm asking people out there for, and I say it every day, is think for yourself. Don't listen when you see something on TV.
Do your own research.
Right.
Do your own research.
Absolutely. And
I mean, you can't believe anything. You can't believe anything on the internet, Mike. Everything is psyop. It's
right.
Everything is disinformation. It's crazy.
And when truth stuff come out, they censor it. I mean, what they did to President
exactly.
trying to censor the President of the United States
YouTube's
yesterday.
a joke right now. I mean, there's
oh my
nothing
God.
real on YouTube at this point.
Do you know? See, people don't realize this. They have
it's all psyop.
They have censored and deplatformed. Okay, 1.6.
Poker channels.
Not just that. 1.6 billion with a B. Okay, impressions that were pro-Trump in 2016 that have now been removed from the internet. Okay, we are living in a very corrupt society right now, and again, everybody on the left or right should be alarmed that these places are censoring people.
No,
they're not.
I mean, are you scared Are you scared about this 6 foot distancing? They're enforcing 6 feet. I mean, this is 1984 to the T.
Oh, absolutely. My brother said,
have you read 1984? I mean, this is terrifying stuff. What's going on?
This was during the Cold War in '84? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about Orwell's book. He wrote about all this stuff, 1984.
Oh, I'll have to look this up.
In the book,
I definitely want to look this up.
Yeah, look up if you haven't read Orwell's 1984. Definitely look it up because
I definitely
he's describing a lot of the stuff that's happening right now.
My brother thinks we're going to be at war with China.
Are you scared of this?
You know.
What about this 6? I mean, the cops are going around arresting people if you're standing 6 feet.
Can you fucking believe it? That's insane. This is insane in the United States of America. So
we're about to see martial law, Mike. I mean,
it's
getting that creepy.
I know we are. And the thing is, if Twitter's going to be censoring what the President of the United States has to say, he's going to put an executive order and he'll fucking cancel the election and declare martial law. He don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? They're not. It's one thing.
I'm pretty terrified. I'm not going to lie.
You should be terrified. I'm terrified too. And I ain't terrified of the virus. I'm terrified of the tyranny that's going on in the country.
Exactly. I'm scared. I'm exactly the hysteria they've created off this. Like you said, I mean, the numbers just don't add up. They shut down the whole world.
Right.
I mean, it's insane.
8.5 billion. There's 5.6 million people infected. Do the fucking numbers. That's 0.0000001% of the population of the world, and they shut down the world.
I'm no doctor.
Yeah,
I'm no doctor.
Hey, Rick.
I'm not going to go off on numbers, but do we need to shut down the whole world for that?
Yeah, exactly.
So
my buddy Rick, who I was just talking to, he's on the call with us now. So if you have any ask him some questions if you want. So
no, I'm just saying. I don't understand how people aren't freaking out. I mean, when you have police telling you got to stand 6 feet away from another person, or they'll arrest you. I mean, you start getting a little scared.
I agree. You know.
I mean, people.
Was anybody actually arrested?
It's incredible.
Oh yeah, they've arrested a lot of people. They arrested a guy
surfing all over the country.
Surfing by himself in California.
They're forcing you to stay.
I don't think that actually happened.
No, it did. They showed it.
It's happening.
They showed a guy getting arrested. They did not show a guy getting arrested because he was surfing by himself.
Do you guys know what the First Amendment
There was no evidence that he was arrested for violating a social distancing order.
But he's by himself. What else?
Well, maybe he had a warrant for his arrest. Like what? There's a lot of things he could have been arrested for.
But we live in a
just jump to the conclusion he violated social distancing order.
Here's a fair question to you, Rick, and let me ask you this. Okay, let's just say you are scared of the virus and you don't want to go out. That's your prerogative. If you want to stay quarantined, you can. We live in a free country. If you want to open and wear masks,
I don't know if we live in a free country.
Well, I agree, but I know we don't now. But let's just say you want to open.
At this point, do you really think we live in a free country?
No, I don't. But
exactly. Come on now.
what do you think, Rick? Do you still think we live in a free country?
I think we live in probably the 8th or 9th freest country in the world.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 or 11.
Yeah.
Mike,
Yeah.
Mike, wait until they lock down the states, bud.
I know. It's going to get worse.
And then see what people say, Mike. They're going to lock that. That's next, Mike.
I just can't believe that people are giving up their rights like so easily. You know what I mean? And my
they
answer,
want it. People want it, Mike.
What?
It's terrifying.
Yeah. Well, it's the fact is, I just don't see. Listen, if you're scared of the virus, stay home. If you want to open your business,
exactly,
and you want to be careful, wear masks, do everything you can to protect, and people want to go out and risk their lives to go out and patronize your business, they can.
Hold on. That's all fine and good now.
Exactly.
That's fine and good to say that now. Mm-hmm. The problem was when hospitals were going to get overloaded. Mm-hmm. When the curve showed that hospitals were going to become overloaded, then it was no longer an option to stay home if you're scared of the virus.
No, I agree. But we flattened that curve a month ago, Rick.
Not a month ago, weeks ago we did. And things should be reopened.
What's that? What did you say, buddy?
When did flattening the curve turn into communism?
Exactly. When did that's my question.
Mike, it went so quick. It went from flattening the curve to all of a sudden stay in your house and don't leave ever.
Exactly. That's flat out communism.
I mean, it's
Did you just say
terrifying.
Communism?
Yeah. It's flat out communism.
They're still pushing it, Mike.
I'm with you, man. What do you think, Rick? What's your answer?
No one else sees it, Mike. No one else connects dots, Mike.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to believe Fox News and CNN. They think they're telling you the truth.
No, I know they're not. I know both sides are fucked up.
When it's obvious what they're doing. I mean,
it's so obvious.
I guess my point with you was, I mean, you talk about Trump a lot, but it's like, I mean, come on, man. The guy's clearly a puppet. He's not a good guy. I mean, none of them are. So you can't.
No politicians are good guys. I agree with you 100%.
They're all terrible humans, and
it's pretty sad.
It's very obvious.
I agree. Well, we got to get at some more.
It makes you look silly when you come on here talking about Trump, how he's so good, though. He's not.
I'm not. You've missed a lot of my podcasts where I just tell you what I think of him. So it's.
No, I listen to you. I've listened to you talk about him all the time, and it's like I like you, Mikey, but it's like, come on, man. You know the guy's 100% a puppet.
It's
obvious.
He's not. He's a puppet, but
they all are, Mike.
He's not an Obama puppet. He still does things on his own. Don't think that's why they hate him. They don't care.
I don't know.
They don't care about the little lies he says. They care when he tells the truth. That's when they go crazy. Yeah,
but he's not making any decisions for himself. I mean, let's be honest. Come on.
Well, right now I haven't been pretty impressed.
I mean, we can agree to disagree on that. There's just no way he's 100% a puppet. They all are.
I won't disagree.
Anyways, they're all bought and paid for.
I got to get off the call. We're gonna take some more calls. I appreciate the call, my friend. Okay. Thanks for calling.
Keep connecting those dots, Mikey.
I will. That's what I do. Anyways, so we'll take some calls from everybody, Rick, and we'll see what people have to say. And
Mike, are we going to keep talking about COVID, Mike, or are we going to switch subjects?
Well, yeah, we could switch subjects. What do you want to talk about?
I really wanted to talk about this Jungle Man Dan situation.
That's a good thing. Okay. Now, it doesn't shock me. Okay. I know what goes on in the underground poker world. I'm a little upset with somebody like Dan, who, he plays the biggest games in the world, to do something like this. Like, he really needs the money. You know what I mean? So I'm a little upset with him, but it happens everywhere. Okay. I'm not going to name any names, but I could tell you that since the lockdown happened, there's a few underground sites, and they're playing some very big games, and people told them they were playing with these fish, and they had pros playing on those fish's accounts. So let's see what this next guy has to say. Welcome to the Mouthpiece. You're on with Mike Matasso and Rick Fuller.
Hey, it's David from Jacksonville, Florida. How you doing, Mike?
Good, David. How you doing, buddy?
Good. I'm not. I'm just an average guy, an average American. I'm about as middle class they get. All these research and stuff like that. But I just want to talk from the perspective of a middle class, right down the middle person.
That's what you're the person we want to talk to.
I mean, I'm not scared of this virus. I'm 48 years old. I go out and I'm not going to be locked down. I'm not going to have the government tell me what I'm going to do and what I can't do.
Agree.
And the thing that, if you're scared, I mean, this is so simple and easy. If you're worried about the virus, you stay home.
That's what I just said.
My mother's 70. Yeah, my mother's 74 years old. She doesn't leave the house. They go and get her groceries for her. That's fine.
Right.
That's what she wants to do. That's fine.
Right.
But these people are trying to tell us that we can't go out and we have no business. My grandfather, he was 94 years old when he passed away 3 years ago. He used to tell us horror stories about the Great Depression.
Yeah.
And if they continue to try to lock this country down, that's what we're going to.
Absolutely.
And you think and my grandfather told me, he said, I promise you one thing. He said, he said, I will never be poor again. I'll never go through that again. He said, if I ever thought it would be another Great Depression, I'd shoot myself in the head before I'd live through that again.
Well, that's the thing.
And that's
the suicide rate.
I've got friends that have built their business and worked their ass off for 25 years, and the government's telling them they're going to have to shut their business down, and then they're going to lose everything they've worked for. I mean, how can the government do that?
Well, that's why I'm really worried about civil war. People are not going to take this, okay? And the longer they close it down, and these governors have way overstepped their boundaries. Even Rick, who's on the phone with us, agrees. What do you have to say when somebody from the middle class calls and says something like that? What do you have to say to that?
What do I have to say to someone who wants to get back to work?
Well, yeah, like he just said, like the governors are trying to put everyone in the poorhouse. You know what I mean?
What do you think the governors? So the governors are taking a lot of heat, right? They're taking a lot of flack. Mm-hmm. There's a lot.
We on with Ricky? So frustrating. Anyways, so people could hear me and see me now?
Yes.
All right, I apologize to everybody. We're having severe internet problems. So if this happens again, we might just have to make the podcast shorter today.
Looks like we're back up.
Yeah, we're back up. We're having these I've never had internet problems. It's just like, fuck on me. Well, we got another call. Let's see what they have to say. Welcome to the Mouthpiece. Is Mike.
Hey, it's Dave back from Jacksonville. I just wanted to say one last thing before
problem.
We got disconnected.
Yeah, we're having internet problems.
Yeah, I'm just saying that, it's just sad, like I said, what's going on. And you're absolutely correct. I mean, if anyone doesn't understand what, CNN, we got ripped here. I live at Jacksonville Beach, and we opened the beaches up before just about anyone else.
Right.
CNN took a picture of, I think, California beaches full and said it was our beaches the first day it was open.
I remember that.
And then they kept saying, and then they told us how we opened too soon and all this other stuff and how this, that, and the other. Well, our we have 4 people. There's 1 million people that live in Duval County. That's Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
4 people under the age of 60 have died from corona. 4 out of 1 million.
I know.
Yeah, they're gonna tell my buddies and my people that they can't open their restaurants back up and this, that,
this
and the other.
Is my argument.
Crazy.
This is the argument I'm making.
Right. I agree. No, I'm just telling you this is from the middle. And the last thing I want to say is, like I said, and the last thing you said was so correct. It's the media that scares people, and they're doing it politically. Absolutely, they want
all
Trump
about
out. Everybody wants Trump out. CNN wants Trump out.
That's it.
Yeah, they all want him out, and the only way to do it is to scare the hell out of everybody. And it's terrible. And don't be a sheep. Go do it. Like I said, I'm not telling people to go out. And if you're worried about it, stay at home. But don't tell the rest of us, American citizens, that we can't do what we want to do. I mean, I'm not saying to go out and go crazy, but
right.
If we want to go out and go get something to eat. Anyways, thanks a lot, Mike.
Yeah, you're very welcome, man. I appreciate you calling the show. Tell all your friends to listen to the show. Thanks a lot, man. All right. So, anyways, Rick. So, let's talk about this Jungle Man thing. This isn't the first time this has happened. I'm not just saying with Jungle Man it might be, but This is very common.
Actually, it's not the first time this has happened, even with Jungle Man.
Really? Okay. This is very common with these high stakes poker games. That's why I never trusted them. Well, let's see. We got another call there, Rick. Welcome to the Mouthpiece. You're on the line with me and Rick Fuller. How's it going?
It's going okay, Mike. I
Every time we're getting
thought the chat would like them other than coronavirus, so I thought we would talk more about this jungle thing.
Well, that's exactly what we're talking about. We just changed gears. It's me and Rick. We're getting ready to talk about the whole Jungle Man thing.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on it?
Count me in. So I've gathered as much info as I can. Like, I saw the Bill Perkins tease days ago, like everybody else.
Right.
Him telling us that it was this massive scandal that was way worse than the Mike Postle situation. Given that Postle was basically stealing from people for over a year, this must be great, right? And we find out that was it Dan Cates ghosting in a rec game? Is that it? I mean, like, not that that's nothing. But
Mike Postle. Mike Postle stole.
Mike Postle,
let's just say Mike Postle stole 125,000. These guys are playing very big. He thinks he's playing one of the biggest whales in the world, and instead he's losing $250,000 or whatever, $1 million. So yeah, it is bigger but money wise, if you think about it. You know
I mean, money wise, I suppose. It's. I suppose you could make that case. I hadn't really considered that.
Yeah.
There's something about
I don't think you can
playing
even come
with perfect
close to
information
making that
versus
case.
just,
I think that's an absurd case.
Versus pretending that you're a wreck. Like,
right. Hold on a second, Rick. What did you say?
Because if you go into a casino, and
there's no way that this is anywhere close to the Mike Postle scenario.
No, I agree with you.
Mike Postle flat out cheated and stole. Okay, Jungle Man played. Now, I'm not. Before anybody freaks out, I'm not defending Jungle Man.
No, there's nothing to defend.
And we're going to talk a lot about that. I hope.
Yeah,
about how wrong what he did was. Right. But Mike Postle was a flat out crook, criminal, a thief, the lowest of scumbags that you can be.
Yeah.
Okay, he stole.
Jungle
Man acted in a deceptive manner to hide his identity and play poker, where there's still an element of chance.
Right.
He still could have lost.
Right.
Mike Postle could not lose. Mike Postle was going to win 100% of the time.
Right.
No matter whether they thought Jungle Man was still playing poker in a scenario where it was a fair, the cards were still fair for Jungle Man.
So I'm gonna ask you this, Rick, because I've been off Twitter the last 2 days. I try not to go on it because it gets me too aggravated. Was Bill Perkins supposed to have been playing Rick Solomon and ended up playing Jungle Man? Is that what I heard?
No, not Rick Solomon. Some random guy.
Okay.
And it was there were multiple people at the table. It wasn't a heads up match.
Okay.
It was a random guy. It was an invite only. What Jungle Man did was he took over this random guy's account, but he did more than that. Which you mentioned something about that happens all the time, and I agree that happens all the time.
Right.
However, he did a lot more than that. What he did was they were playing on Zoom like this.
Okay.
So he actually continued to talk on the Zoom stream and pretend like he was playing while Jungle Man played on his account.
Oh, wow.
So he went around the whole Zoom scenario.
Wow.
Yeah, it's bad.
Wow.
Right? Like, it's more than just on someone else's account. They intentionally deceived the players in the game by having the guy continue to be on Zoom and say that he was the one playing when Jungle Man was actually playing the cards.
That's and you know what? Like we play a lot on Zoom in our private games, and everybody we know in the game, so I don't have to worry about it and whatever. But I always thought I thought like when you're on Zoom and shit, it's like legit. But to think that the guy was on Zoom talking with everybody while Jungle was playing his account on another computer, that's pretty bad. I mean,
it's unethical for sure. It's hard to compare it to the Postle situation, though, because they're still quite different. And there's definitely an ethics breach for sure. Whether or not you call it cheating is going to be a semantics problem, but it's definitely bad.
I mean,
the unethical part, 100%. Cheating, yes, I agree.
Yeah.
The fact that it was as bad as Mike Postle, Mike Postle flat out could see his opponent's whole cards and made decisions based on that.
Yeah.
That is
allegedly, but yeah.
That is fluff. That is fear. That is cheating to the utmost. There are levels of cheating here, and as bad as what Jungle Man Dan did, as bad as that was, Mike Postle's situation, comparing it and saying, as Bill Perkins did, it's way worse. I think that's
yeah. I thought he was. Yeah, I thought that was
what
out
Mike
of line.
Postle did was way worse.
Let me ask you this, Rick, with our caller on the phone. Do you think that supposedly he only outed Dan, but he said there was others involved? Don't you feel the others should have been outed also, whether they were the main guy or not?
I think that
Did he make a
should
deal?
only out people if he's 100% sure. I don't think that he should be speculating about who's cheating.
Right.
I think he should only out people when he's 100% sure.
Right. Well, I heard they made a deal that Jungle Man would be outed and everybody else would names would be kept in secret, which I'm not a big fan of that either. You know, but honestly, I could name 10 more. I could name 10 things worse than that. I mean, I got info on things that I know have happened in the past that I just keep to myself. You know, I don't think it's something that I want to put my name in the middle of because I have enough problems.
Richard Poplis says in chat that Mike Postle should be banned for life. Mike Postle should be in prison, dude.
Yeah.
Forget banned for life.
Yeah.
What he did was criminal.
Yeah. But again,
At the very least, you fight him so much that you just take back everything he stole. At the very least.
But you still have to prove it, okay? And there's obviously been no proof yet. I mean, as far as with the casino trying to get it expunged, the lawsuit. You know, I have my opinion on it. I mean, but I just try and keep to myself on that until everything and the legal problems are over. And I think I talked to you about Rick. I gave you my opinion on it, but I keep it public.
We've talked about it.
Yeah, I think it's best that if you're a big name, to not go out and just say he cheated 100% unless there's proof. So I have my own thoughts on it. So
Jungle Man Dan's using the other problem with Jungle Man here is he's using the defense of other people have done this.
Yeah.
And worse. So what I did is that bad.
Well, I know
and
they have.
I think that's
I
pretty
know
atrocious defense.
Like I said, during this lockdown, I know of a very big game that got like 3 really big fishes in it that lost 7 figures, and they thought they were playing with a couple of really big fish that were under their names, and there were professional poker players playing behind that. And so this happens a lot, which is why I never play big on the internet ever again. I learned my lesson.
Name names, Mikey. Name some names.
I'll talk to you privately. I don't want to go public with I'll tell you privately. So I just I know of that happening. I know of the entire corporation during the Bobby Baldwin game at the Aria, a private game that went for 4 or 5 years. I know what was really behind that and how much, who was behind what and how much money. To me, that's cheating, don't you think?
Yes.
Pretty bad.
So, and then there was the 2008 Guy Liberté that lost $60 million on Full Tilt, and the people that were all playing with him were equity chopping. So when Guy had the nuts and he'd move in 40, 50,000 and 4 people would call and they'd get their money back by equity, do you think Guy had a chance when he had 4 cards against 16? You know, and that, to me, that's cheating also. They said, well, no, it's not. Barry Greenstein 100% agree with me. It's cheating. When you're playing 6 max and 4 or 5 are up against Guy and you're equity chopping every time you're all in and you're sending the person back the rebate of what his equity was in the pot every time after the hand, to me that's cheating. So that happened back then. So there's a lot of things that happened. But what Jungle Man did, I don't think is right. But I don't think it's an excuse to say, well, other people have done it. So, well, other people have done it, but you got caught, and now you're going to have to pay the consequences. That's all.
It's funny, Mike. When I get pulled for speeding, I can't point out to the fact that other people are speeding. The cop doesn't let you off when you do that.
It's a good point. It's a very good point. So
I don't want to venture back down the virus rabbit hole. It's hard enough to talk about it, but I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
When the live poker is back, How long will it take you to return, do you think?
Me, I'd be in the casinos tomorrow if they were open, but that's just me.
Would you be wearing a mask?
Because I've been seeing tweets like the Bellagio's reopening June 4th, and like things are getting going probably early next month.
There's going to be no.
Within a week
You better find a nice private online game that you're not getting cheated out of, because there's going to be no live poker till probably August, September. I mean, the Wynn's opening with four people max, but who's really going to leave?
No, screw that.
Well, who's really going to leave their house to go to the Wynn to play 4 people at a poker tournament right now? I know
You'll never beat the rig. You'll never beat the rig. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't see it happening either. So, I did have Maury.
Are we going to have a world? We're gonna have a World Series this year? Do you think?
I mean, Maury Escondati was on my podcast 2 podcasts ago, or no, he was on the day of my birthday. He was on my birthday podcast.
Okay, yeah, I was on that one too. Go ahead.
Yeah. He said 80% there's going to be a World Series this year, and I believe there will be.
Huh.
I believe it's not going to be open. I think it's going to be like the World Series of Poker started, where it was an invite only. I think there's going to be around 200 people invited to about 20 events, maybe 300, but that looks like to me what it's going to be. From what Maury tells me, there's not going to be these huge. There won't be any big field. There won't be any big field Colossus or big field 4,000 people tournaments at the World Series this year. So it's just something that will be.
You're thinking small, Mike. The Big 50 had over 28,000.
Yeah. So, but he told me.
Is that really the World Series of Poker? If that happens, that's not even the World Series of Poker.
No, I would say no personally.
I mean, it was the World Series of Poker. The first 5 years they had it, it was all invite.
It wasn't an invite. It was an open tournament. So
it wasn't invite only.
When Doyle won the championship twice, it was an invite only. There was like 15 people that were invited to the game. There was nobody else.
You could still join it if you showed up with $10,000. They would have.
That's not what I was told. I mean, I might be wrong.
Really, I never heard that, Mike. I never heard that, Mike. I know the very first one was that 6 max cash game that went for like 2 days. I know that.
Yeah.
Past that, I thought it was an open event.
Yeah. So I don't know what they're going to do with. I mean, what's good is the 10K events, the championship events that I love to play, the mixed games. We never get over 200 people anyway, so it'll be. Those will all go, and it'll be just like it. It's like back in 2001 or 2002. That's what you had 200 people at the World Series, so it was like a family event. Yeah. I think it's going to be interesting what they're going to do, but we don't know. Like honestly, this virus could be gone by the end of July. Literally, it could. It could be. I mean, SARS burned out in the summer. The swine flu burned out. Ebola burned out from the heat. So we don't know. That's the thing about this whole thing is we don't know. It's so much uncertainty right now. So, we wish for the best.
Well, absolutely. And if the World Series does do what you're describing, you got to believe there's going to be a bunch of asterisks next to every bracelet, right? Because people are going to be like, well, yeah, you want a bracelet, but it was in that it was in that tiny ass, 2020 field. So who cares?
Yeah, but you have to.
That's going to happen.
But you have to look at it this way: you're also playing the 200 best players in the world. I mean, there's going to be no dead money.
Granted.
So you have to look at it the other way too. You could say, oh, you're not going through those big fields, but then again, you're not going through 4,000 people with 3,000 of them with no chance, or 3,500 of them. See what I'm saying? So it's going to winning a bracelet actually was going to be way harder in a 200-person invite to a bunch of events than the open events. Way harder. So so
I can see the other side of that because the variance that comes in a 5,000-person no-limit field is astronomical.
No, yeah,
astronomical. So there's that too.
Right. So
I mean, the minefield that the World Series became is something that you would know particularly because you've played a lot more of those events than me.
Yeah.
And getting through those 5,000-person fields is just a nightmare.
Right.
Yes, the 200-person field would be tougher, but the variance would be a great deal lower. So there is that.
So basically, to win them will be to win the large fields were always tough. That's why in the big open events, if you just look back the last 10 years, there's Like the only person that's dominated open events is like Chino Reem. I mean, this guy's won more $1 million tournaments than anybody, you know. But even like,
and he's still broke.
Yeah, and he's broke the next day. You know, and there's, there's a lot of great players that have done well. But I mean, it ain't easy to get through these big fields. So, but it's also when you're talking about a 200 people max on all these events. I mean, you're going to be playing literally all the high roller people. You're going to be playing like the best. It's going to be like you got to beat the best of the best. So to say asterisks, I'll disagree with that. It's just going to be different for 1 year, you know. Listen, if I win a bracelet playing all these great players, fucking, it's going to feel. I mean, there's no soft spots. I mean, there's nobody going to give you a chip. You're going to have to earn every fucking chip. So, that's the other way to look at it. Yeah. So
I can't see them giving out bracelets for an invite-only event.
Yeah.
Well, I'd rather see that than the giving away like 10 bracelets in online events. I think that's the biggest joke ever. So
yeah.
How about day one online? Day one online. Day 2 and 3, 6 max live.
Yeah, maybe they might do that. That's a good idea. That. That's a good idea. This way,
I like that a lot.
But then again, they can't have everybody in. You have to be in Vegas, New Jersey, or Delaware to play on the WSOP.com. So that will negate the ability to get big fields too. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, anyways, I appreciate the call, man.
They can still
absolutely, man. And I will say
some
this.
of the foreign sites.
One last thing I will say: if they do that World Series with invite only with a bunch of crushers, it will be a sick thing to watch on PokerGo, and I will.
Yeah,
totally
I mean
do that.
the television audiences will be through the roof because now you're really playing the best players in the world. So
I'll be one of them. That would be great to watch. I mean, I don't think that's great for the World Series, but if that's what they have to do, I'll totally watch it from home. Mike, it was great talking to you.
Great talking to you too, man. Stay safe, man. Thanks for the call.
Bye.
Later.
Absolutely. Bye.
You got it. So Rick, let's go back to this Jungle Man thing. So what's your opinion on the situation?
Well, I think it's pretty scummy behavior, especially to do to your friends. You know, he's friends with Bill Perkins, and he's friends with some of these guys.
Yep.
I think there's no defense for it.
We got a call. Welcome to the Mouthpiece. It's Mike. Hello, you're on the phone with Mike and Rick Fuller. Hello.
Yeah, sorry, I was on speaker there. Hi, Mike. It's Alex. I'm from Canada, but living in the Philippines.
Oh, hey, Alex. How's it going, man? Thanks for the call.
Oh, life is good.
Good.
Yeah. So, I have a question for you because I'm curious, right? I read all these Twitter posts, the 2+2 forum, and you have people like Nick Shulman, David Vipper-Pete, and so forth, right? They're defending what happened, basically saying, "Oh, it's no big deal," and so forth. So, what do you think the methodology is behind that, right? Somebody like Nick Shulman or these other pros really defending and just brushing it off. Is there
if it was on
more behind it?
I'll go with this, and Rick, you could chime in on this too. If you're doing it on a random poker site, it's really no big deal because people do it. I would never do it, but people do it all the time. But when you're doing it against supposedly one of your good friends, which Bill Perkins and Dan are pretty good friends, I think it's really scummy. So that's my opinion. Rick, what's your opinion on that?
I disagree with you on if you're doing it on a random poker site, it's no big deal.
No, I didn't say it's no. I think it's terrible, but I said I would never do it. But I'm just saying it's a lot less worse than when you're doing it against a friend for big money.
Yes, stealing from your friends is worse, I guess, than stealing from strangers. I mean, I guess I can't even defend that statement. I'm not sure it is worse. There's levels. I guess there's levels of ethical considerations here, but bad behavior is bad behavior. This is completely unethical behavior.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Maybe it's worse that it was his friends. I guess it's worse to his friends for sure. It's going to feel a little personal. But as far as the ethics of his decisions and his behavior, I think it's pretty bad all around, regardless of whether it was his friend or it was a stranger.
No, I agree. I mean, I know I've had a lot of money stolen from me online and in all kinds of ways. It's one of the reasons why, as much as I love online poker, I always used to say online poker invented for people in the middle of the country, people that can't gamble. It's illegal to play poker where they could play like $1 and $2, $2, $5. It wasn't meant to play high stakes online. And when you're dealing with high stakes, people, I mean, they kill people at 7-Elevens for $40. I mean, you can imagine what they'll do to steal your money. You know what I mean? So it's sad because the there's so much greed in the world. And as much as I really like Jungle Man, I thought he'd really come a long ways the last few years. This is very disappointing to me. And maybe Nick Schulman and Viffer said that to defend him because they play with him every day. Especially Nick plays with him every day in Bobby's room. But I'm with you. I just don't think it's defensible. So.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here in judgment and pretend like I've never made bad ethical decisions in my life. I certainly both have. But I think it's okay to say that I think this behavior is terrible, regardless of any moral implications or justifications that he may have made for doing this, whatever those may have been.
I mean,
we don't really know what they were. His apology letter didn't point out any kind of. It wasn't even an apology letter. It didn't point out any kind of justification. It just simply said, "Well, others have done this, so it's not so bad that I did."
That's a cop out. You can't play the victim. Okay, I say this all the time. Playing the victim in this world is what the left wants you to do. Okay, don't play the victim. Play the victor. Okay, when you do something wrong, you own up to it. He should reimburse the money. Okay, and then he should put out a letter apologizing to the entire poker community, and any punishment that is brought on him, he will accept, and that is taking responsibility for your actions. Is that a fair statement, Rick?
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
Yeah. So, anyways, I appreciate the call. You got any other questions? Hello?
Well, just kind of curious about this. Do you think part of that defending of...
Do we have this problem when we were doing remote?
No, we're having this problem for the same reason Tara's having a problem working from home right now.
Yeah. My internet goes out when I'm playing online, too. A lot. It's got to be the bandwidth. Anyways, we're gonna get Rick back on here, and then we'll take a few more calls, and we'll talk about what else is going on. Are we back up yet or no?
I think we are, yeah.
All right.
Double check.
So fucking stupid. Never had this before ever.
Yeah, we're rolling.
Hey, Rick, you there?
No, he's not on.
Oh.
We gotta wait for him to rejoin. But you're on.
Yeah. All right, I'm back up. Rick joined Zoom back up again. I don't know. We might have to wrap this podcast. We have all these callers calling in, having a great podcast, great discussion, and I'm having these ridiculous internet problems, and it's really frustrating because we're getting a lot of content out here, and we're talking about a lot of things, which is good, especially since I haven't had a podcast in 3 weeks. We're able to touch on a lot of things. So, I want people to keep calling in and asking me different questions, and hopefully if we have a problem again, might just have to end the podcast, but it's nothing I can really do about the internet problems, I guess.
Rick said he had to go anyway.
Okay, so Rick had to go. All righty. Well, welcome to the Mouthpiece. This is Mike.
Hey, Mike. It's Delaney from Canada here.
Hey, buddy. How are you doing, man? Hey, we've been having a little bit of internet problems, so if we get cut off, I apologize in advance. We've been losing our phone calls. I don't know why.
Okay. Hopefully everything will go okay.
Yeah.
So you guys were talking about cheating in poker, and this has been on my mind for a while. I've been thinking about these AI programs that can just dominate pros heads up.
Oh, absolutely.
And so it probably won't be long.
These sites, most sites they spend millions of dollars getting bots off the site. Matter of fact, I had Phil Nagy, head of ACR, on about 6 weeks ago, and he had a severe bot problem, and he said he's gotten rid of about 85-90% of them, but they're very smart and they're very tough. So,
do you really think, like in the future, online poker could survive?
No. Listen, I'm one of the people that have been cheated out a lot of money on online poker. So I'm not a big proponent of it. I've said it before. Online poker was put in the middle of the world for people to play poker, like have home games, small games for people who can't play poker around the country and around the world. It was never designed to play $1 million tournaments online. Okay. In 2010, I was visiting Brazil, part of Full Tilt Poker. Went to a party before the tournament started in this mansion upstairs in a room the size of a pool hall. There was about 400 computers lined up back to back. I asked, what is this? They said, oh, we're teaching people how to play online poker here. I'm like, give me a break. What a bunch of bullshit. You know what I mean? They get people, they separate IP addresses, and they get people to play, good players to play, get deep in tournaments, dump off chips, and make scores. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust any of it. I just, let's just say if it gets regulated, okay? We, like when we had Full Tilt and Poker Stars, we were spending tens of millions of dollars to keep the bots out, to regulate it, to make sure people aren't colluding. And it was still hard to do. You know, do you think these casinos, if it gets regulated, would spend the time like Full Tilt and Poker Stars did? You know what I'm saying? Our party does now.
Yeah.
So I just think you're better off maybe winning satellites for like 10,000 to the World Series, kind of like Moneymaker did in 2002, small buy-in tournaments, and keep the games no higher than 5-10 no limit with a max $100 big blind buy-in. And if they do that, I think nobody could get hurt and it'll be safe. And that's just my opinion. I've always had this opinion. I've had a lot of money, stolen from me, literally online. So I know what could go on. And it's right now I'm pretty happy. I play in a very secure private game. When I say secure, it's about 14 people where everybody knows each other, and we play for pretty big money, but we don't have to worry about it because we all know each other. You see what I'm saying? So this is the first time, and I've been doing really well because I don't know if it's the first. Maybe I'm doing well because it's the first time I haven't been cheated. Who the fuck knows? But no, I've been playing really good and running good. So that's just my opinion on that. I know I've always felt that you just got to be careful. You know what I mean? And that's just my thought process on that. So other than that, how you been, man? You doing good?
Pretty okay. I'm quarantined here too. Pretty bored.
You're in the Philippines, you said?
No, Canada.
Oh, Canada. Okay. Oh, yeah. They're really strict. They got a real strict lockdown there, huh?
Yeah.
Well, the curve's been flattened for a month everywhere, and they won't let you out of your house. This is what they call tyranny. Okay. This is what they call everything they accuse Trump of being: a dictator, tyranny, a tyrant. This is what they're doing. Okay. It's ridiculous. It's insanity. But, you know, people are, it's going to get ugly soon. I know one thing. It's going to get real ugly because people.
All right. Well, I'm not very informed. I don't want to get political. I just wanted to talk about that one thing.
Yeah.
No,
you don't have to get political.
Sorry to hear about your dad, Mike. And
I appreciate
thanks for talking.
it. No, absolutely,
see you
man.
later.
I appreciate you calling me, man. Okay, so we closed down the phone lines because we keep getting locked off, and I apologize to everybody that wanted to call in, didn't get a chance to call in today. Hopefully, we might run another podcast Monday, because this Monday I am opening my own little poker room online in a very secure site. I'm basically renting a skin off of the site. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be running one $2 no limit hold'em and two $4 no limit hold'em, and I'm going to not take more than $3 max rake no matter what. It's basically I'm doing it for my fans. I'm going to be playing 2 hours a day minimum on Zoom with my fans. So everybody that joins up, they'll be able to play with me, and anybody who's in the game with me, if they misplay a hand, I will give them lessons on what they did wrong. And basically, I'm not doing it to make money. I'm going to make enough to cover my nut or whatever, but I'm not there to gouge anybody or whatever. I'm basically, hopefully, going to get about 4 or 5 games going. And if I do get that many, I will rotate the entire time I'm on Zoom to the middle seat in each game, so everybody has enough time to play with me. If we get 3 games going, that's 27 people. We will hopefully get as many of you guys that want to get on Zoom with us. So it'll be like a big Zoom party / play poker with Mike the Mouth. $1 $2, $2 $4. I'm hoping. I'm not going to let any bigger games than that go, because I don't want to deal with ridiculous numbers with people. So with that, I'm going to put out on my Twitter, and pay attention, that's the Mouth Matiso at Twitter. And if you don't follow me on Twitter, and I'm going to give direct messaging messages on how you will be able to play with me during the lockdown in a very secure online site in a small game. And like I said, we're going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to try and teach people that struggle and make mistakes on hands. I'm going to make fun of you guys when you play bad. And it's going to be just a fun thing for a couple hours a day. Now, you will be able to continue to play on the site if the games are good by yourself. But I am committing to 2 hours a day on Zoom every day. It might be 4 hours a day if we're having a lot of fun. And it's something I was going to do at the beginning of the lockdown, which I didn't do. But I really want to give back to my fans. I really want to the people that always call me and say, I want to one day play with you. And they know I play high limit. I'm going to let you guys be able to play $1, $2, or $2, $4 with me. And like I said, it's going to be very, very small rake, just basically to pay for the people that are doing all the books, and that's basically it. So hopefully that game will go for 2-3 months straight, while none of us have poker, and you'll be able to learn a lot from me and enjoy yourself playing. We have a lot of Zoom parties in our big game that we play in privately online, and it's a lot of fun. So I came up with the idea the other day why I was smoking a little pot. And, when you smoke a little pot, you start to think outside the box. I said, what can I do to give back to my fans and to the people in poker that have no poker games to play, that always wanted to play with me? So stay tuned. I'm going to be putting a lot of Twitter information over the next 3 days. You'll be able to direct message to the person that's will be running the books, either their email or a direct message to Twitter, and they'll tell you how to hook up to the game. Now, in this game, everything will be discussed through the direct message on how to play with me. Starting on this Monday, we will have Mike the Mouse, a little poker room opened, and if we get 2 games, that's great. If we get 3 games, that's great. If we get 1 game, that's great. But I'm trying to give back to all my listeners on the podcast, and to all the people who have been loyal followers and also always wanted to play with me. So look forward to that. Check me out on the Mouth Matiso on Twitter.com, and I'll also be posting on my Facebook page, and you'll be able to direct message to email somebody for instructions on how you'll be able to play with me. So I apologize. I have to cut the podcast short. We had a lot of calls today. We touched on a lot of subjects, and I just want you all to stay safe. The virus is real, but don't fear it. Enjoy your life. Try your best to live life the best you can. Treat people the way you want to treat others, and everybody stay safe and happy. I love you all. I'll talk to you hopefully Monday in my game, And I will putting out messages that you can direct message about how you'll be able to play with me all next week in these small games. Take care. Thanks for listening to episode 43 of The Mouthpiece. Good night, everyone.
The Mouthpiece.
All right, that was good.